Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, beautiful people.
Hello there, welcome back.
It is such a perfect day. Absolute picture of perfection. Rama thinks so, Sita thinks so. Sassy does too. She's underneath the tailgate, as usual. She likes to take that spot.
Yeah, Sassy's doing what Sassy needs to do.
So, we got a few videos done today, and we helped some people with energy work and healing. And so we're taking a walk with the dogs to get them out into nature. We try to get out into nature as much as possible. Mother Nature heals all. She really, really does. And so actually, it was early this morning, technically, the Galactics came through and they had a lot to share. We shared some things in the first two videos um, this morning. The other part that they wanted to get across, the way they worded it, was that many people are feeling frustration, but take heart from their vantage point. The light is exposing the darkness and developing cracks in the control matrix of the dark ones.
And don't underestimate your light. If you are one who wants to see things become better, if you want to see the world differently, you want to see things done differently, you're definitely one of these light workers. And they were talking about the most recent KP index that we had, where gosh, the sun sneezed and it was like up at an 8, and that lasted for a very long time. And what that did is it took people who were already in an awakened state, and it pushed traumas up and out. And then also, what it did is it took people who were not awake yet, and it just kind of turned them on, turned their light on. So now they are opening their eyes, they're realizing the world for what it is, or at least for what they have been told, and they're able to start making some changes now, but they're very, very new. It's like having newborn babies. It's like people waking up and realizing, oh my, this isn't at all what I thought. And we have a lot of those newbies now. And many of you who are probably listening to this video, you guys have been around, you understand what's going on, and you're probably going to be called to mentor some of these beings who have just now woken up.
Absolutely. Again, the hardest times are in many ways the greatest teachers. Think about just everything we've seen in the past. Think about people that have gone through, things like the Second World War in countries like Poland or France that were occupied. And, we could take all these different scenarios from different times when people were being oppressed and subjugated and not letting their spirits falter. Standing strong in what they believe is right without letting themselves become controlled by anger and hatred and frustration. I shared my reactions to a video that was posted on Twitter that was extremely disconcerting to me. And, again, this is what the dark control matrix wants, is to get us all to wallow in those negative emotions. Now, we can't go to the extreme of hiding ourselves, or perhaps you could if you're far enough out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, maybe you can hide away from the world and not even notice what's going on. There may be people again somewhere in South Pacific Islands that won't even have a clue that there could be a massive war going on, a plague upon the land, all these different things. To them, it might be, well, I don't know. That storm was kind of strong, but other than that, everything seems perfectly normal here.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it all depends on where we are, where we find ourselves in this particular incarnation, because this is just one incarnation amongst many. And for many souls, one amongst countless of incarnations. And often we will take incarnations with an express purpose, an objective. It may very well be, I need to develop more compassion. Like perhaps in the last lifetime, you lived a life of royal luxury, and maybe you could have helped people and chose instead to ignore their situation and just enjoy where you were. And maybe the soul, after going over that life, said, well, that was all well and good and fun, but, I really need to learn these lessons. So I'm going to incarnate down here in this challenging time because I know what's coming. And let's see how good we can do. There's always going to be trials and tribulations, and some periods have a lot more of those trials and tribulations than others. And so this is a big show. This is absolutely a big show. I think back to some of the things that the guides have shown me in the past week. And one of them was, again, a view from above, looking down on Earth. And there's so many different beings that are not of Earth that are hanging out right now in our skies, in our orbit, and they're just watching us. They are just watching, and it's like pull up a chair. This is the big show. This is the big show, and they know what the time is because again on fourth density there is no time, and so they know what the season is by what they see happening here, and understand the challenges that are ahead are opportunities. When we look at it as an opportunity to grow the soul for advancement, for learning lessons that haven't been learned yet. This is why so many of us are here, to be in areas of support. Some of you may be in the eye of the storm. Certainly, the people of Poland in 1938 and into 39 found themselves in the eye of a building storm. Obviously, the people in Ukraine have been in the eye of the storm. Now, that storm may turn its focus next to Taiwan and then eventually the US and the UK and who knows where else. Each one of us will be faced with decisions. How do we respond to challenging times? When we look to Yeshua, and I always am thinking about the comments that people put out, and where I really, really want to address, good questions. And there was a question. Well, if Jesus didn't come down to be a blood sacrifice, then why did he come down? Well, the answer is he was being a guide. And what was he trying to teach us? He was trying to teach us how to live a life that's going to lead to us moving higher into the higher densities. How to lead a heart centered life, how to lead a compassionate life, how to get ready for an existence outside of this dark Kali Yuga and the dark control matrix. How can we escape the control matrix? Well, that's the lesson of turning the other cheek. That's the lesson of, pulling the plank out of your eye before you pull the speck out of another's. We need to always be working on being the best version of yourself. And in a nutshell, that's basically what he gave us. That's all we have to really try to do is to try to be the best version of ourselves. That's the whole point. And what does that look like? Well, every person is unique. Again, he didn't come to be worshipped. He didn't come to demand that every knee bow to him. These are different things that have been put in by the controllers to again distort the real teachings. He came to show how we can bridge the different yugas and do it in a way in which we are helping each other. We're climbing up higher and we're reaching out our hand and helping the other to climb up a little bit past us. And then they reach out their hand. Somebody else picks you up when you're down. This is what we need to be doing.
Mm-hmm. And definitely realizing your power. One thing that they said that really stuck out was realize what you're capable of. Yes, they know that we are surrounded by a lot of situations, a lot of things that are very negative and very anti-soul, things that are distractions and are going to get you led off to a different area, when this is a time where we should be expanding, we should be evolving. But they gave me this picture to give you guys, imagine you're in a very, very dark room, and you simply light a very, very, very tiny match, a very small match, and realize how much light it takes. It doesn't take very much to chase away so much darkness. So, really, sometimes all it takes is a smile. It takes to pick something up for someone that they dropped. Sometimes it takes simply to open that door for someone. Just a kind gesture. So many things that we do really could have an effect on the person that's next to us. Sometimes people just need a smile. They just need someone to care, someone to smile at them in that moment, for them to feel better and just uplift their soul for the rest of the day. So always remember, people are going through things that are very difficult right now, and how we respond and react to different things is going to really help a lot of people. I mean, we have that ability right now. We have that power to affect a lot of people right now in a positive way.
Absolutely. And the other thing they wanted to share with us was when we look at the sun and everything the sun is doing, truly the sun is a relay from source and from the creator of this particular universe. And yeah, absolutely. The upgrades that are coming from the sun are intended to better humanity, to better the planet, and to give us upgrades. And one thing that they said was, you may have noticed that, when we see things like a CME going off in a different direction, and then all of a sudden the KP is going crazy and people are really feeling the effects. Well, it doesn't have to hit us directly to affect us. They said, think of it more as a radio wave instead of, what science is teaching us. This is part of the bigger picture as well. If we only go by the science, again, the science is controlled by the dark control matrix. And so they're never going to give us the absolute truth on things. They rewrite the history as we go. They give us the science that suits them. We have to, learn to feel into things more, feel into things and sense things. And again, don't go just on our teachings and what we're translating to you. You got to go and sense and develop your own discernment. And again, that takes a regular spiritual practice. And, we prioritize that. As we've shared with you guys, many days we will spend a couple hours meditation, yoga, qigong, mantras. And that's kind of the norm.
Mm-hmm. And we do this on a daily basis, and we do it regardless of what's going on. Sometimes there might be mantras are done at night in bed, just to make sure that we get that double dose in there. So we put that first. And this helps our perceptive abilities, and this helps our ability, when we're working on you guys, to see your guides, to see your angels, to hear what they have to say, to be that conduit that helps you connect to your guides and angels, because so many people have been disconnected for various reasons. Um, and that's what we're here for. If you're one who's being called to, like, make an appointment, this is your guides, this is your angels tugging at you, saying, okay, we need to get a hold of you, we're not quite able to reach you, let's go over here and let's fix this. So they really are, they're trying to communicate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I hope that some of these things gave you some ideas, inspiration. Again, a regular meditative practice is an absolute necessity in these times. As we go into a higher vibrational state of being, it's going to be all about really our emotional state, our mental state. Everything is going to be lighter. Our frequency is going to move higher. Everything about our existence is going to be less heavy and less dense, and that's a beautiful thing. It is a natural transition. So of course we have to recognize the mental and emotional side of things. Be mindful of our thoughts, Yeah, again, and there are some that'll take the extreme to where they don't want to hear anything negative per se, or what they perceive as negative, as they believe that's giving power to the dark side. And if you're at that point in time, then, again, that's great. Just stay on Heart's Home. As far as watching our videos, or watch EEARTS with discretion, and maybe ignore Evolutionary when we're covering news and things. And it's all up to you. It really, really is. But again, there are so many people that are just waking up to the fact that something seems off in this world and they can't put their finger on it.
Mm.
So those people, they want to understand the news from a spiritual viewpoint. And, as time goes on, they'll deep dive deeper into whatever fits them. And that can change. That can absolutely change. I've utilized countless systems throughout um, my life, and have gravitated from one to another, and felt more comfortable at one in one period and then one in another. Then I'll go back to using something else. That's totally your prerogative. There is a free will zone. And that's the whole point of the creation.
Definitely. So look around, see what fits, see what works, and that might not work for the rest of your life, but it might work for now.
Absolutely. As always, God bless and namaste.
Namaste.